it's Noreen, and right now it's not really an episode of What's for Dinner or anything like that. We're gonna make some rice pudding. It's really cold here. It's like, I'm sure it's less. Earlier this afternoon it was 28 degrees. That was like the high today. And it was very windy, and the wind chill factor made it feel even colder. It was horrible. Rick says it's 26 right now. So I've been wanting to make some rice pudding, and I thought I'd bring you along and show you how I do it. It's really, really easy, and it's really delicious, and it's really inexpensive. You already have the things that you need in your refrigerator and in your pantry to make this right now. So let's see what I'm going to do. I have 1.5 cups of long grain rice. This is Jasmine rice. I have 4 cups of water. I have 2 cups of sugar, and I have a vanilla bean. We're going to use 6 cups of milk, which is 1 whole quart and a half of a quart, because a quart has 4 cups. We're going to use 2 eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla, along with the vanilla bean. What we're going to do is we're going to scrape this and put the seeds in with the custard when we cook it, and we're going to put the bean in there while it cooks to flavor it. 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and if you like, I'm going to put a 1/2 cup. I'm going to put this entire rest of this package of golden raisins in here. You put what you want. Put dried cherries, dried cranberries, dates, figs, a mixture of all of those things. It'll be wonderful. We're also going to finish it off with about 3 tablespoons of butter later. At the end, it will just bring it all together and make it delicious and silky and wonderful. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this water and I'm going to put it in my pot. And then I'm going to grab my rice. Now when I cook rice for dinner, I rinse it. When I cook rice for rice pudding, I do not. You want all that lovely starch in there. And I'm going to just, a few shakes. We're going to guesstimate that that is 1/8 teaspoon. Then I'm going to grab a spoon, and I'm going to give this a stir. I'm going to turn this over medium-high heat, bring it to a boil, and you know the rules with rice. We're not cooking this like we want to cook it to eat it, because we're going to be adding the custard components right into this pot. So we're going to just let this cook until most of the water is absorbed, and when that has happened, I'll come back and show you the next step. Alright, while we're waiting for our rice and our water to, do what it needs to do, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this vanilla bean. The ends, just chop them off, toss them away. Then, you see how this is kind of flat? What you want to do is just slice it down the middle. Just like that. Then what you're going to do with the back of your knife, you're going to scrape it. Kind of open it up a little, okay? Scrape that bean out. See all that goodness? That is solid vanilla flavor. Look at that. It looks like tar, but it's not. It's delicious. And all you're going to do, I'm just going to drop it right in here in that milk. Then I'm going to save these. I'm going to drop those right in the pot when I'm making that custard base. And we're going to let that fragrance, the custard at the end, we'll pull it out and we'll just discard it. So now you know how to scrape a vanilla bean. Okay, we're back, and I just wanted to let you see what this is supposed to look like. You see how it looks very milky and starchy? Now I didn't add anything. This is just rice and water. And you see how the bubbles are getting larger to indicate that the water is almost all absorbed. This is exactly where you want it. Now, the next step is to add the milk. And here's our 2 cups of milk that I added the vanilla bean seeds to. And here's a quart of milk, and that makes 6 cups. Give this a stir. And now we keep cooking. And we're going to stand here and stir it. And I'll come back and I'll let you know about how long it has been. I'm also going to throw in that vanilla bean pod that we scraped. Just like that. You can just, you know, keep an eye on it. Don't let it boil. Just bring it to a nice simmer and continue to stir until it gets nice and thick and creamy. Then we're going to add, in a little while, we're going to add our sugar. And I'll come back when it's time to do that. Okay, it has been about 15 minutes and I have constantly tended to this, stirred it frequently, almost constantly I've stirred it. I'm just going to toss this bean in the sink. This is the other half of the bean that I put in here earlier. I removed the other half and you can see how much thicker this has gotten. I've had it on medium-high heat the entire time, and now we're going to add our sugar. At this point, it's going to get very glossy, but we are going to want to continue to cook this for another 10 minutes, and then we're going to add in our egg mixture. I have beaten in frickin' pan over there. I beat the eggs. I'm just going to turn that down a bit, and I want to add in, we'll call that a tablespoon. Looks good. Can you really have too much vanilla? I think I've said that before. All right, that, fantastic. I'm going to bring that right over here. And I'm going to bring this back up to a boil. That sugar brought the temperature down just a little bit. We're going to continue cooking this for about 10 more minutes. And what you see in there, there's little brown flecks. That's part of the vanilla bean that kind of went overboard off of the vanilla. And then there's little flecks in there of the vanilla bean that we scraped from the inside. And this smells wonderful. The jasmine rice is so fragrant. It really does add a lot to this dessert. And this makes a lot of rice pudding. This will be wonderful for breakfast tomorrow morning. I particularly like it when it's cooled off a bit. I like it at room temperature. I don't like it very warm, but it is delicious warm. I also like it with raisins, and I don't think I'm going to end up putting the raisins in because I think I'm the only one who likes them. So I'll put raisins in my individual serving. But I'm going to continue to stir this for about 10 more minutes, and then I'll be back and we'll show you how to put in the egg mixture, and then we're almost done. Alright, we're back, and it has been just about 10 minutes, and you can see how thick this has become. It's wonderful. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn the heat off. Sorry. We're going to turn the heat off. I'm going to move my spoon over. I'm going to just go ahead and, well, first, we want to temper these eggs before we drop them in here. So just like we tempered the sour cream when we made our chicken paprikash, we want to put a little of this hot mixture into the egg, and we want to mix it up really well because we don't want those eggs to scramble once we get them in that hot pot. We want them to come up to temperature a little bit. And there is rice in there, so that is not the eggs scrambling, I promise you. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my spoon again, and we're going to put these in here. Very slowly. The reason we want the heat off is so that not too much heat is building up in there when we're putting the eggs in. Now I want to drop in my butter. I have cut it into small pieces. And that one didn't jump right back in the cup.
Yeah, I didn't have it on the. Can do that again if you tried.
Alright, we're just going to stir that butter in until it melts. This looks wonderful. It smells. It's so fragrant. It's I can't even explain to you. You know, and if you go to the grocery store and you go to the refrigerated section where they have the really good rice pudding, there's one particular brand that I do like to buy occasionally if I'm not going to make my own. And it's expensive. It's almost $4 for a little container, like a sour cream container. It's maybe 2 cups worth. This is really some dessert that you can make out of your pantry stores. And you know what? You could use powdered eggs reconstituted, your rice from your food storage, your dry milk that you've made into milk with water from your food storage. This can be entirely from your food storage, and this could qualify as a prepper's pantry recipe.
Comfort food.
And it is a fabulous comfort food. And you know, I was watching Southern Prepper 1 this morning, and he did his video about the results of his food storage eating test, and he revealed that after 4 days on oatmeal and rice pudding, or rice, pardon me, oatmeal and rice, if he'd have been eating rice pudding, I bet he'd have been able to last a lot longer. That he was having a real hard time because he just wasn't eating. And I think that his lesson for him was great. I also think it was great for everyone who watches him, because I think storing things other than just the basics is so very important. Because if we are thrust into an uncomfortable situation, we are going to want good food, because there is little left in life that we will be able to enjoy. But I digress. I'm going to throw in some cinnamon. Stir that in. Oh. And I'm going to throw in a little nutmeg. Just a little. Now, you're going to let that cool down a little. I've turned off the heat. In fact, I'm going to remove it from that burner. And I'm going to get a bowl. There you have it. A beautiful dish of homemade rice pudding. It took about an hour to make it, but it was worth every minute. Consider making this from your food storage just to show yourself that you can do it. Or don't. Just make it. It's really wonderful. I hope you try this, and I hope you enjoy it. And until next time, I'll see ya!